everybody. Okay, true story. One day I was working a floor care shift, which means I was tasked with handing out masks and sanitizer at the front door to anyone who needed it. Time goes on, and this one guy rolls in through the door with a huge grin on his face. I could easily see his sanctimonious sneer as there was no mask covering it. So this jackass gets right up in my face and says, "Nice day outside to catch COVID, huh? Those people out there," pointing to exactly one person putting on their mask outside the store, "they're all crazy." I shit you not, Wazowski, exactly like that. I could already guess where this was headed, so I told him that they're probably just putting on their masks early so they don't forget. His verbal diarrhea then shifted to some grand conspiracy about the CDC and how the masks correlated to Chinese communism and every other crumb of whack job nonsense he could think of. All the while, he inched closer and closer to my masked face with his uncovered mug. I offered him a spare mask so he could go on his way, and in response, he snatched the bag out of my hands and said, "See, right here, what do you think of that?" pointing towards the Made in China label on the bag. I politely informed him that half of everything is made in China, and he just strutted off, maskless, yelling, "You keep believing that! You keep believing that!" I kid you not. Now, I'm not alone in the world of essential workers being confronted by people claiming that mask mandates and vaccination passports are somehow grievous violations of their personal freedom. Some have gone so far as to even compare wearing a mask to the horrors of African-American slavery or the extermination of Jews in the Holocaust. Irony is clearly a foreign concept to these absurd and frequently white people. And you know how they hate things that are foreign.
Yeah.
Now, there is an ever-widening divide between the people that act like complete asses under the guise of personal freedom and people that understand the social good of personal responsibility and accountability. So, here's the thing. It is increasingly clear that a bloviating minority of Americans have completely abandoned the concept of a social contract. For a little background, the social contract is a moral and political philosophy first identified and studied during the Age of Enlightenment in Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. In its simplest form, the social contract is the process where people relinquish some of their individual freedoms and submit themselves to decisions made by the majority of a community or society. In exchange for giving up some so-called natural rights, the individual benefits from laws and structures that protect social order for everyone. It was believed that, absent a social contract, people's actions would only be governed by the application of personal power or conscience. Might makes right and all that. Rational people submit themselves to the authority of a governing body to prevent the chaos that would occur if everybody decided to do whatever the hell they wanted to do whenever the hell they wanted to do it. Laws keep honest people honest. The lawless recognize no authority above their own desires. The social contract and the stability it creates are a means to an end. The system only works if everyone acknowledges how it benefits all individuals involved, and attains legitimacy only if everyone fulfills their part of the bargain. In other words, don't be a dick. And yet, we increasingly find ourselves in a tsunami of gun-toting, maskless, anti-vax, criminally misinformed, superstitious, hateful for hate's sake raging dick monsters. And we have to hope that those aren't the cops. The social contract in America is in a state of deep disrepair. Not unlike our infrastructure, the post office, the U.S. Congress, our educational institutions, for-profit healthcare system, and our collective levels of public civility and common courtesy. In just under 250 years, our nation, which was founded on the Age of Enlightenment political philosophies, has degenerated from a socially contracted promise with the consent of the governed to create a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, to a shouting match led by id-driven adult toddlers that are only in it to own the libs. Enlightenment philosopher Thomas Hobbes famously said that in a state of nature, human life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. In the absence of political order and law, Everyone would have unlimited natural freedoms, including the right to all things, and thus the freedom to plunder, rape, and murder. There would be an endless war of all against all. So, you may ask, why should I wear a mask in public, even though the CDC says that double-vax people are mostly in the clear during a once-in-a-century global pandemic? Don't be a dick, that's why. Why should I get vaccinated for free against said global pandemic? Because don't be a dick, that's why. Why should I, as a person of means with enough wealth to comfortably care for my and many thousands of families, pay my fair share of taxes? Because don't be a dick, that's why. Why should I not carry a loaded assault weapon into my local Chili's during the lunch rush? Why should I keep my hands and other body parts to myself unless invited to do otherwise? Why should I treat all people, regardless of race, gender, color, creed, national origin, economic circumstances, or sexual identity, with dignity and respect? Because don't be a dick, that's why. And, while I'm on a roll here, why should I hold open doors for people young, old, male, female, or otherwise? Why should I put my shopping basket away when I'm done loading my groceries into my car? Why should I pick up my trash at the end of the movie and put it in an appropriate receptacle? Why should I use my turn signals? Why should I not put a nearly empty milk jug back in the fridge instead of drinking the last sip and putting it in the recycle bin? Why should I refill the toilet paper roll when it's empty? Because don't be a dick. That's why. The social contract doesn't expect you to be a superhero. Nobody's asking you to be a paragon of virtue like Captain America, Sam Wilson, or Steve Rogers. Nobody is asking you to repair all the ills of the world on your own. Nobody's even asking you to be super nice all the time. The social contract only expects you to follow one basic rule when dealing with others. Don't be a dick.